So today's topic is guys regression testing. So regression testing means if you know regression testing is a very important topic. Okay, let me just start guys. Regression testing. So for this you have to understand release. So release is nothing guys, just the final product or software that is handed to the customer. Okay, at the time of release. Okay, fine guys. So let me just create a new board. Okay. So what happened, guys, is that you have to understand what is a release. First of all, let me just open. So suppose this is release 1, this is release 2, this is release 3. Release is nothing but the final product of or a software that is handed to the customer. That means a software, suppose like Facebook is developed, okay, and it is delivered to the customer. That is called as release. Release is the final product or software handed to the customer. Fine, guys. This is release. Now, in a release, as a testing point of view, there will be test cases, right? There will be so many test cases. Suppose in release 1, there are 100 test cases. Okay, fine. Now, guys, in release 2, again, there will be a new module will come. Again, there will be new test cases and all. So what will happen is this is a new release. This is release 2. Okay. For release 2, again, there are suppose 100 test cases. Yes, guys. Now, because of this new test cases, there will be some impact on the old test cases. Yes or no, guys? Tell me yes or no. Can it be some effect or not?
Yes.
It depends, right? It can have some effect. It cannot have some effect. Like what? Suppose a Facebook application is developed. Now, entire login page is developed and home page is developed. Now, what will happen is, guys, is now in the home page, okay, we are in the home page of Facebook. Now, what will happen is now we are introducing a feature of integrating it with WhatsApp. We'll integrate it with the WhatsApp. So now integrating it to WhatsApp can happen. What happen is because of this integration, it might affect the existing functionality of Facebook. Like what, guys? Like your home button, timeline, or chat box, or post, or pictures and settings. All these features might get affected. So we have to test those features again. So since we are testing the feature again, so this is what is testing what the old feature which we have already tested in the another release. So that is called as regression testing. So what happened actually testing is what with the test cases, we see the test case and execute the test case. That is called as re-executing. We have already executed this 100 test cases. And again, because of this 100 new test case, this is new test case. Okay, new test case. Now, because of this new test cases, suppose 50 old test cases of release 1, 50 old test cases of which release 1 might have got affected. That means these 50 test cases are from here. Out of this 100, 50 might have got affected. And executing, or we'll tell it what, re-executing these test cases across multiple releases or builds, I'll tell you again what is that builds. As of now, against multiple releases or builds, to make sure that the changes, this 100 test cases is nothing but the changes, has affected the existing functionality. Because of this WhatsApp is developed, it might have affected the home page, login page. So what happened? Because of the new features developed, it might have affected the old features, and testing this old feature again is called as regression testing. So the definition of regression testing is re-executing re-executing all test cases across multiple releases or builds I'll tell you separately, builds to make sure that changes means what, guys? Addition of code or deletion of code or modification of code has not affected the existing functionality is called as regression testing. What is regression testing, guys? Re-executing the old test cases across multiple releases or builds to make sure that changes has not affected the existing functionality is called as what, guys? Regression testing. Fine, guys. So this is what is regression testing. Now, guys, regression testing has some kind of questions like why this particular test cases got affected, why not other test cases and all. So that is what is my question. Okay. So you have any doubts, guys, still here? Please ask. You have any doubts? Any doubts? Am Rakesh or Rakesh?
Actually, I'm understanding sir, what these things.
Any questions? Please feel free to ask, guys. This is a very, very interactive kind of session.
Okay, okay.
Okay, so please feel free to ask whatever you want to ask. This is release 3. Now, release 3 will have what? Suppose 100 new test cases. That means new features are added. Okay. Now, what will happen is this is the new test cases are added. Because of that, what will happen is so suppose 50 test cases from which release? From release 1 and 50 test cases from what, guys? From release 2. We have to test these features again. That means we have to execute these test cases again, re-execute these test cases again. When we have to re-execute these test cases, guys, what will happen is we have to re-execute these test cases again, and re-executing these old test cases. These are what? Old test cases. This is what? New test case. So what we will execute first, new test cases or old test cases? Can you guess? What will test first, execute first, new test cases or old test cases? Can you think, guys?
Old.
No, think. First, what will execute? What do you think, Am Rakesh? What will execute first, old or
Okay.
new?
I'm thinking first new. After that, we'll go for the old.
No. First, yes, correct. First, we'll always do what, guys? New. And then we will do what, guys? Old.
Old.
Yes or no? Yes. Give me just 1 second, guys. Yeah, so this is what this is a stable feature, guide, right? This old one is a stable feature. Why it is stable? Because we have already tested this in release 1, release 2. This is this 50 which is coming here is already tested in release 2. This 50 which is coming from release 1 is already tested. So these are stable test cases because one round of testing is already done for these things. But the unstable test case is this one, right? This is new feature. So first we will test this new features. That means we'll execute this new 100 test cases, and then we will execute what, guys? This old test cases. Are you understanding? Yes or no, guys?
Yes, sir.
Any doubts, guys?
No.
Anyone? Tapashvi, any doubts? Fine, guys. If you don't have any doubts, that's fine. So what happened, guys, is my question to you is that how we will identify these are 50 old test cases from release 1. This is 50 old test cases from release 2. Why not 40? Why not 10? Why not 5? Why not 1? Why not 2? Okay. So that is what is this number of test cases which will be taken from the old release is done using a technique called as impact analysis. That is called as what, guys? Impact analysis. This is decided based on IA, impact analysis. So we'll understand, guys, is what is the impact analysis. Fine, guys. So now let us just understand, guys, what is impact analysis. Fine. So impact analysis, what happened now? There is three person. One is the customer. One is the customer. One is the developer. And one is the test engineers. So these three people will decide any test number of test cases which needs to be taken from the previous release. Suppose this is release 1. So why 50 test cases will be taken? First of all, majorly this test engineer will decide because he has already tested it. So he will tell what, suppose he told what 40 test cases. Now what happened? The developer also thought that okay, few feature would have 10. He told what, suppose 5 test cases. Customer told again this 5 test cases. So based on the understanding total, we have to test what, 50 test cases which might would have affected. So these three people are majorly involved to identify the impact area or affected area, and majorly this test engineer decides, okay, even if the customer developer are not there, he has to think, and he has to think that which are the test cases would be taken for regression testing based on his testing experience, based on the major functionality, based on the last bugs what he got in the previous release. But see, there are three things. First is what, how he will think. He can think what, major functionality, whichever the major functionalities are there, he will test it. Whatever the bugs he has got in the previous release, based on that he can just what he can do, he can identify the old test cases. Yes or no, guys? Yes. So now this is what is called as what, guys? Impact analysis. Impact analysis is what, guys? Is nothing but the impact analysis. Impact analysis is the way to identify the impact area or affected area. This is done based on three, no, we'll write like this. There are three peoples involved in identifying the impact area or affected area. What are the people? First is what, guys? The customer. He gives a report based on the business knowledge. He also have some business knowledge, right? Business knowledge. He gives a report. Next is, guys, is what? Developer. He gives a report based on the coding knowledge. Finally, the test engineer, he is majorly involved in identifying the impact area. He gives a report based on the product knowledge because he knows the product clearly, each and every functionality. Product knowledge. We prepare the impact analysis is the way to identify the impact area or affected area. There are three people involved in identifying the impact area or affected area. Customer, he gives a report based on the business knowledge. Developer, he gives a report based on his coding knowledge. Test engineer, he is majorly involved in identifying the impact area. He gives a report on the basis of product knowledge. on the basis of product knowledge. Based on these reports, we identify the impact area or affected area. Fine, guys. Now, so in regression testing, what happened? I told you regression testing across multiple releases, and there is something called as what, guys? Regression testing across multiple build. So let us just understand that also, guys. Yeah. Build means what, guys? Do you know what is a build? Have you ever heard about build? Build is a piece of software, a module. Suppose login page is a build, okay? Is a piece of software, okay? Let's suppose login page is a build, home page is a build, okay? Timeline is a build. So like that, what, guys? Build is a piece of module, guys. So now what happened, guys, is here. Now build is what, a piece of software, and that is installed in the testing server, okay? Server means a particular URL where test engineer gets, okay, and test engineer will test it for its stableness. So that is what is a build. So what is build, guys? Build is a module. You can understand like that. Build is a piece of software which is installed on the testing server. Test engineer needs to test it for its stableness. Fine, guys. No. Multiple builds, let us just see. Suppose this is build 1, build 2, build 3, like that. Suppose this is build 001, build 002, build 003. Like that, there are so many builds. Build 004. Like that, and number of builds are there. Suppose the last build is build 50. Okay. Now what happened, guys, is when a build is coming, what will happen is, suppose a particular build has come, okay, which is having what, guys? 5 requirement. Total is 5 requirement. Total is suppose 5 requirement. Now what happened if total is 5 requirement? 3 requirements is taken in build 1. 3 requirements is taken in build 1, development, testing, everything. Now what will happen, guys? In build 2, suppose we are taking what? Just 1 second, guys. Yeah. In build 2, we are taking suppose 2 requirement or 1 requirement. I am taking 1 requirement, okay? Now what will happen is this 1 requirement will come and it can have few impact in the previous 1 requirement of this build. So 1 requirement is the new one and 1 requirement of the old one. 1 requirement of the old one. Now if we go to build 3, we are left with how many requirements? How many requirements we are left, guys, now? One requirement. And what will happen, guys? We might have to test 1 requirement from build 2 and 1 requirement from build 1. 1 requirement from build 1 and 1 requirement for build 2. So what will happening is these things we have already tested, right? Yes or no, guys? Yes. This we have already tested, this we have already tested, this we have already tested, but again we are testing. So if we are again testing, testing means what? Again re-executing the old test cases across what? Multiple releases or builds to make sure what? The changes has not affected the existing functionality. Then what will happen, guys, is that is called as regression testing. So what I told is that whenever we'll tell the regression testing, guys, we have always tell you re-executing the old test cases across what? Multiple releases or builds to make sure that changes has not affected the existing functionality. That is called as what, guys? Regression testing. Fine, guys. Now, this is the definition of regression testing: re-executing the old test cases across multiple releases or builds to make sure that the changes has not affected the existing functionality. Any doubts, guys, till here? Any doubt? Rakesh? I'm Rakesh?
No, sir.
No doubt, no. So this is simple, huh? This is with respect to the manual testing, guys. This is regression testing. This is simple. In new, see, what is happening is very, very simple. This is release 2. Now these are 100 new test cases. And because of that, 5 old test cases might have got affected. We are re-executing it. This is release 3. In release 3, what is happening, guys? There are 100 test cases, 50 test cases of release 1 or 50 test cases of release 2 might have got affected. We are just re-executing again this. How these are identified, this 50 based on the impact area. Impact area means what? Customer, developer, and test engineer will decide which are the test cases might have got affected. Majorly test engineer, because he has already tested. If he's in release 3, he has already tested this 50 test cases of release 1, and also 50 test cases of release 2 he's already tested. So based on the major functionality and major bugs which are logged, he will identify those test cases. Then I told you regression testing across multiple build. What is build? Is a piece of software that is installed on the testing server, and test engineer will test it for its stableness. With a piece of software, is a module like login, like homepage. Now there are 5 requirements. Out of that, 3 requirements came for build 1. Again, there is a 1 requirement for again next requirement, and 1 requirement of this 3 requirement might have got affected. We are again re-executing this, so it is called as what? Re-executing the old test cases across multiple releases or builds to make sure that the changes are not affected the existing functionality. Am I clear till here, till this much, guys? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So this is very, very simple with respect to manual testing, but they ask, first of all, what is regression testing? Then you have to tell what? Re-executing the old test cases across multiple releases or builds to make sure that the changes has not affected the existing functionality is called as regression testing. Then you can tell, because of the new features, it might have affected what? The old features. So we are again testing the old features. So it is called as regression testing. So all those things are with respect to manual testing. Now we'll learn the regression testing in ETL testing. This is very, very important. So what is regression testing? Because of the new features, it has not affected this old feature, and testing the old feature again is called as regression testing. Fine, guys. This is regression testing. Now, how we will do regression testing in ETL testing? How we will do regression testing in ETL testing? That's the question. Okay. So now how we'll do that? So what will happen is, guys, first of all, creating a backup table. What is the query? Do you remember that, guys? Yes or no? How to create backup table, guys? Tell me. Anyone knows? Anyone knows DML, DDL, TCL? Hi or no? Hi or no? Are you there? Yes.
Backup database.
No. If I want to create a backup table, do you remember there's a query called as create table name?
Okay. Create table.
As select star from EMP. If I want the table to be created as EMP, if you know, this is the way to create a backup table. If you know SQL, okay, I have completed SQL. So let me just show you if you have forgotten, okay. Anu, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Are you there?
Yes, sir.
You're not audible. Can you speak? So, sir, guys, now this is a EMP table. I want to create a table like this. What is the way? Create table name. Any name I can give. Suppose I am giving M Rakesh, okay? As select star from EMP. Now what will happen, guys, is one table will be created whose name will be what? M Rakesh, and which will have all the rows and columns like EMP table. Although index does not get copied, but you tell that everything gets copied. Okay. So now, because the interviewer should also know. So this is the way to create a backup table, guys. It will have the same record and column, but index does not get copied. So what will happen? This is the way to create a backup table. What will happen? Create table name as select star from EMP. Now what will happen? A table is created whose name is M Rakesh, which will have the backup of which table? EMP table. Yes or no, guys? Yes. So you tell that this is the way to create a backup table which will have the same records like your EMP table. Am I clear till this much? Tell me yes or no, guys. Is there anyone? Can someone respond? I'm Rakesh. Rakesh.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes, sir.
So how to create a backup table? Did you understood? Create
Yes,
table name as select star from EMP. I have already
Right.
told. Again, I am telling. Okay, fine. Now, step one is creating a backup table. We have created a backup table. Now what will happen is once table is created. Now any name I have given M Rakesh, you can give anything BC key backup and is having the exact data as EMP table. So this will have the exact data as which table? EMP table. Now what will happen is, guys, now we are loading the data from the EMP table to the target table. Okay. And then what will happen is, guys, because of this loading and all, it might have lost some data. Now what will happen? What I'm trying to tell you is there is something called as source and there is something called as target. Fine, guys. There is something called as source and there is something called as target. Do you remember that? Source and target, mainly ETL testing. Now what will happen is this is EMP table. Now from EMP table, I am loading only department number equals to 10. So in the target table, we'll have which data, guys? We are having the data like this. Department number, just to show you. Fine, guys. So this suppose this is the target table. So now your target table is having this data. Source is having this data. Fine. Now, since the data is loaded from the source to the target, okay, from the EMP table, data got loaded into the target table, which is having this kind of data. Suppose this is your target table. Fine, guys. Let me just make it very clear. Yeah. So this is your target table. Fine, guys. This is your target table. Fine. Suppose only department 10 is loaded, guys. Okay. Now your source is which table, guys? Is your EMP table. Now in this target table, what will happen is this was loaded from which table? From EMP table. Yes or no, guys? Yes. Now, because of this loading process, this is your target table, okay? And because of this loading process, the source is what? EMP table. Now, from this EMP table, this got loaded into the target table. And because of this loading, guys, what will happen is it might have affected some functionality of which table? EMP table. It might have affected some functionality of EMP table. This is your source table. Yes or no, guys? Guys, tell me yes or no? Yes.
Yes.
Yes or no, guys?
Yes.
Let me just bring that diagram so that you will understand very clearly. Yeah. Let me just bring that. Yeah. Let me just bring that filter transformation so that you can understand clearly. Yeah. Fine, guys. Now let me just bring this diagram. Yeah, guys. So let me just put that diagram so that it becomes more clear. Yeah, guys. Now this is your source table. This is your target table. Now what happened with the ETL mechanism? Only department 10 has got loaded. Now what will happen is because of this loading process, it might have affected this source table. It might have affected the source table. To confirm that there is no effect on the source table, we have created a backup table. We have created a backup table whose name is BC key. Okay. Now what will happen is this BC key table will be compared to the source table after the loading. What will happen is that what will happen in the regression testing? We will test what, guys? Test the backup table with the source table after loading the data. And how will test? Select star from backup table minus what, guys? Select star from which table? Source table. And it should return what, guys? What should be the output? No rows selected. Am I clear, guys? Tell me yes or no. Yes. Any doubt, guys, still here? How we'll do regression testing in ETL testing? What we'll do is step one, we'll create a backup table. What is the step one? Create a backup table of the source. Let us understand like that. Create a backup table of the source. Fine, guys. Now, how to create the backup table of the source? I have told you create table name as select star from the source table. Step two is what, guys? Step two is using the minus query. Step two is what, guys? Use the minus query. Step two is what, guys? Do the data validation. How will do the data validation, guys? Using minus query. Using minus query, we'll do the data validation. What we'll write? Select star from backup minus select star from source, and output should be what, guys? No row selected. Output should be what, guys? No row selected. Am I clear, guys? Till this much? Did you understood? Tell me yes or no. Any doubts? Guys, any doubts? Anyone tell me yes or no? I'm Rakesh. Rakesh, did you understood?
Yes. Yeah.
This way, if you understand, explain, guys, regression testing, then the interviewer or will be very, very convinced. And in your real time work, always this regression testing will be asked. Always you have to create a backup table, then you have to load the data, and then you have to do the minus with the backup table to the source table. And then the output should be what, guys? No rows selected. Output should be what, guys? No rows selected. Clear, guys? Is the concept clear? What are the steps? First, create a backup table, then do the minus with the which table, guys? With the source table. Am I clear, guys? Tell me yes or no.
Source table. Okay.
Fine. Now, if you have understood this much, guys, then see the validations I have written here is separately. First, you can check the count. Select count star from backup. Select count star from the source table. Count should match, and then the data validation select star from backup minus select star from EMP. Output is no record selected. Fine, guys. Any doubts, guys? Still here? Regression testing? No doubts. Fine, guys. What is regression testing? Everyone, tell me. Re-executing what? Everyone, tell me. Re-executing what, guys? Rakesh? Re-executing all test cases
Test
across
case.
what? Multiple
Multiple
releases or builds to make sure that
customer release.
that the changes has not affected the existing functionality. In ETL testing, first we'll create a backup table and then we'll do the minus with the source. Am I clear, guys? Tell me yes or no.
Yeah, yeah. Clear.
Next is, guys, is the user acceptance testing. Now, this is a concept we will learn, guys. And after that, what we'll do is we'll learn the testing done in a data warehouse project while preparing test strategy or test plan document. And then we will move to our next topic, guys. That is nothing but your BI report testing. So let us understand, guys, the next very important topic is nothing but your user acceptance testing. Let us understand what is a user acceptance testing. Fine, guys. Let me start here your user acceptance testing. Also called as UAT. Also called as what, guys? Red box testing. Red box testing. So user acceptance testing is when I don't know how many of you are married. Okay, if a female uh, will go to a shop, okay, and then what will happen is she will if a female goes to a shop, what happen, guys? Yeah, suppose this is how to make a female, no, just make eights. This is how we used to make female. Okay, suppose this female, this lady, okay, now she wants to buy a sandal. Okay, she wants to buy a sandal. Now what will happen is, guys, is now when she wants to buy a sandal, what will happen is she'll go to the shop, and what she will do is, guys, any guess what she can do in the shop? Suppose this
We'll
is
select.
huh? This is a Adidas sandals or shoes, or sandal and shoes she's going to buy. Then what she will do? Any guess, guys?
We'll select.
She will select, right? There will
That's
be
it.
so many shoes and all, and sandal and all. Suppose she selects one sandal, okay. Girls and all will do lot. Boys and all will buy after two, three, okay. Girls and all will do lot, okay. So what she will do is what, guys? First, what will happen? She'll select a sandal. Suppose this is a sandal one she has selected, okay, yellow color. Now she will wear it, okay. And then what she will do is she'll walk all the way in this showroom, okay. Then she will select another sandal, okay. Suppose of maroon color. Again she will wear it, okay. Again she will go all the around in the showroom. So what is happening, guys? She is not a test engineer. She is not a test engineer. But what happened? She is also doing a kind of testing. She is also doing a kind of testing. This testing is nothing but, your guys, is what? User acceptance testing. This testing is called as what, guys? User acceptance testing. This is what, guys? Before the customer, before the customer will accept the product, okay, they will do a round of testing. That is called as what, guys? User acceptance testing. This is a testing done by whom? Everyone tell me, this is a testing done by whom? First of all,
Customer.
this is a
Customer.
testing done by customers, right? This is testing done by the customers. And this is done when? Before the customer, this lady will
Buys.
accept the product. Yes or no, guys?
Yeah, yeah.
Before she will accept it, she will do a round of testing. This is red box testing. Why? Because customer can reject, right? Before she accepts it, she is doing the testing because customer can reject. Okay, that is why it's very critical testing. That is why its name is given as red box testing. It's very, very important. Okay, fine. So now, guys, my thing is, what is user acceptance testing? First of all, it is done by the customer, and it is done before what? Before she
Accept.
accepts that particular product, right? So it is generally done at customer's place, guys, because we are dealing with respect to software. Okay, I told that, okay, see, prepare a software like Facebook, or and give it to me. Okay, so what happened? I am a customer, and then what will happen? A software is given to me, and then I start using it. Okay, so it is generally done where? At the customer's place. That means I'll open in my laptop, and then I will see that application, how it is working, not working. That is what is the thing. It is done at the customer's place. So my thing is, first of all, what is user acceptance testing? This is a testing, user acceptance testing. What will tell, guys? What is user acceptance testing? This is a testing. This is a testing done by customers before accepting the product. This is the testing done by whom, guys? This is the testing done by customer before accepting the product. It is done at the customer's place, and it is done according to the business scenario point of view. It is done according to the business scenario point of view. Business scenario point of view means what, guys? It is his understanding how he is going to test. See, as a test engineer, we'll test what? This is a amount transfer page. Okay, this is the amount transfer page. What will happen is, guys, is suppose I have to give the what from account number. Okay, suppose my account number, from account number. Okay, my account number I have given something to account number. Suppose I want to transfer the amount to Anu, so I have given her account number, and then amount. Okay, amount is suppose okay, suppose is 1 lakh. Okay, now I'll click on submit button, and then I'll get a confirmation message. Okay, amount transferred successfully. So I have tested as a test engineer, we'll test all these features according to what? According to the product knowledge. According to the product knowledge. This is what is got, guys, done by the test engineer. Now what will happen is, when it will be what, guys? When it will be the customer, they might be looking for the transfer. They might be looking for the, when it is a customer, now they are testing according to the business scenario point of view. So what they are thinking is, that am I getting that print option? Okay, after the amount is transferred, after the amount is transferred, am I getting the option for print? Okay, am I getting the option for print? That means in the confirmation message, am I having an option to print? This is according to the business scenario point of view. The customer is deciding. It's also possible that this test engineer might have covered this particular scenario also. He might have tested print functionality. Okay, or it's also possible he might not have tested. Then what will happen, guys? This customer will find this particular thing as the defect, that you have not tested the print functionality, and it is possible that he might have tested, and then it is passed. Okay, so this is what is the user acceptance testing. According to the customer point of view, we have to the testing is done by the customer before accepting the product at the customer place. So UAT is actually done, guys, in 3 ways. Okay, user acceptance testing. UAT is done in 3 ways. What are the 3 ways, guys? First is the test engineer of the company. That means what, guys? Test engineer of the company means what, guys? Suppose Wipro is a company. Okay, its customer is suppose Accenture. Now Accenture test engineer will test the particular application which is developed by the Wipro. Now Wipro, they have do the development and testing, everything they have done. Okay, and they given it to the Accenture, and then Accenture test engineers are testing this particular application. So that is what first it is done by the test engineers of the company. Next is, this is I can tell it as process 1. Now process 2, what will happen is, guys, is this is very important. Test engineer of the base company or the development company, I can write. Let us write as the development company. Test engineer of the development company at the customer place. At the customer place. Have you heard about on-site, guys? Yes or no? Yes. Have you heard about on-site?
Yes, yes, yes.
This is the best period of any test engineer. Why? Well, they'll go to customer place, and then they'll go to US, UK, Germany, France, and they will earn in crores. Okay, so that is the best period of their life. Okay, so what happened here is that, now what happened is, this, guys, this is a, let me just tell you what is the scenario here is. Yes, this is different scenario, guys. Here what is happening is, this is a company. Okay, Wipro. Now Wipro, and there's a company, suppose IBM. This is a company IBM. Now Wipro did the development, Wipro did the testing. Okay, now what happened is, here the IBM test engineers are busy. Here the test engineers are busy. They are busy. They cannot now take any work. So what this company IBM does is they tell, okay, Wipro, you send your test engineers in our organization. Then this particular guy, this particular test engineer, okay, he becomes full happy. Okay. And one developer, he is also double happy. Okay. He's also very, very happy. Both of them gets a flight ticket. Okay. And then what will happen is, guys, is they both, what they will do is they both will go and fly in US. Okay. And then they will go to IBM, and then they will do the testing. Then they will do the testing. Their best performance they will give, because it is in front of the customers. So they will give their best performance and they'll do the testing and everything. Okay, fine, guys. Now, this is method 2. Method 2, what happened, guys? Test engineer of the development company goes at the customer's place. This is process 2. And process 3 is what, guys, you know. Now, this company IBM, okay, what is happening is, this company IBM, what is happening is, guys, is now this is having some old employees. Okay, now they are not using their test engineers. Okay, let me just take a pen. Yeah, now they are not using their test engineers. Neither they are telling Wipro company test engineers to come. What they are doing is, guys, is what they are doing is what they are doing. They have some employees. Okay, there are so many employees who are working in this organization from 100 years. Now, 100 years. No, sorry. Suppose they are working here for 10 years. Okay. Now, what they know the product, right? They are not test engineers, but they know the product. So this IBM told, okay, you all test according to your product knowledge. So they will do the testing. Like this lady, no, she is not the test engineer, but she is using such kind of sandals and shoes from so many years. So she, based on her understanding, she is doing a kind of testing. Like that, this employee, like a Gmail application. Okay. Now this Gmail application, people are not a test engineers, but they also can do a round of testing based on their understanding, because they are using that application from so many years. So that is another way. The another way is what, guys? Process 3 is what? Employees of the customer. They have chosen 5 employees from their company, and they told them to do the user acceptance testing. So this is the way to do the UAT, guys. What is user acceptance testing? First of all, you have to explain this is a testing done by the customers before accepting the product. It is done at customer's place. It is done according to the business scenario point of view. Am I clear, guys? Tell me yes or no.
Yes, sir.
Then I told you what, guys? Then I told you this example where I told that how this test engineers test and how this customer thinks. Then I told you the process. First is the test engineer of the company itself. That means the customer itself, where we'll do. Next is the test engineer of the company at the customer's place. So they will go in on site and they will do the testing. And next is the employees of the customer can do the user acceptance test. Am I clear, guys? User acceptance testing. Tell me yes or no.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Now, so so client with respect to the user acceptance testing for the BI report, they generally check the UI and the data. That means user interface and data. Now, this BI report testing is a separate topic, guys, which I will start tomorrow. I'll tell you what is the BI, that suppose the Power BI installation procedure, how we test a particular BI reporting. See, other institute teaches ETL testing, but we teach ETL testing plus BI report testing. That will complete your particular skill set. It's not only ETL testing, it's about the ETL testing and BI report testing. Because as I have already told, the end product of ETL testing is nothing but a BI report, which is developed and which is used by the customers. So that will take separately when we'll teach you BI report testing. So anyways, guys, these are the testings I have taught you. The testing done in a data warehouse project. What is the thing? Data completeness. That means count testing. Data validation. That means minus testing. Data quality. That means rounding off the data. First letter should be capital. There should not be any junk data like underscore should not be there. All these things I have told you. Then I told you initial load, incremental load, integration testing, regression testing, BI report testing, and user acceptance testing. These are the 9 testing done in any ETL testing project in this world, in this life. Only this 9 testing: data completeness, data validation, data quality, initial, incremental, integration, regression, BI, and user acceptance testing. So one by one we are learning, guys. So all these things we have learned. Now tomorrow I will start your guys BI report testing, guys. Very, very important. An entire Power BI we are going to learn tomorrow, and how to do how to test a particular Power BI, and we will finish that particular thing, that BI report testing tomorrow. And all the defects what we get in a BI reporting project and a ETL testing project, that also will take a separate session there. And after all these things, then we will go to the next session, that is nothing but your data modeling. And once I complete your data modeling, then I'll move to your test scenario test cases. So there's a things which are pending, guys. Okay, fine. We will start from tomorrow. And at same time, guys, 8 p.m. I'll share you today's notes, this notebook. Okay, let me just share today's notebook, all this diagram. Give me just 1 second. What is today's date? Today's date is 31/10/2022. Fine, guys. Let me stop the recording.